Wow. 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 What's good, YouTube? It's your boy, Blue Blood Sports TV, back at y'all with another one. So, YouTube sensation turned professional boxer Jake Paul is going at Canelo Alvarez, claiming that Canelo Alvarez ducked him, right? But he don't just say that Canelo Alvarez ducked him. The 4-division world champion, first ballot Hall of Famer, former undisputed super middleweight world champion, and reigning unified super middleweight world champion, was in talks to have a showdown with Jake Paul May 3rd, Las Vegas, Nevada, at the T-Mobile Arena, right? And Canelo Alvarez, who has 62 wins, 2 losses, 2 draws, 39 wins by way of knockout, already had a deal in place, a 3-fight deal to fight against the pound-for-pound best fighter in the world, Terrence Bud Crawford. But he had a deal in place with His Excellency Turki Alalshikh, a 3-fight deal with Riyadh season. So when he tried to do this side deal with Jake Paul, His Excellency Turki Alalshikh was having none of it. And he said, okay, well, I'm pulling a 3-fight deal off the table. Now, with all the big networks getting out the business of the sport of boxing, and His Excellency essentially monopolizing the sport of boxing, there's not many outlets for Canelo Alvarez to go to. So Canelo Alvarez decided, you know what? I ain't doing it. I ain't going to be able to do it. I'm going back to His Excellency Turki Alalshikh. Signed a 4-fight deal now. An extra fight. Terrence Crawford fight back on in September. And a Jake Paul fight off. Jake Paul is not happy. So this is what Jake Paul puts. And you can see the picture right there that Jake Paul put of him and Canelo Alvarez. Right? And this is what he puts. Quote, breaking news. Canelo Alvarez ducked me, Jake Paul, and is now an own slave with no regard for the pride of his Mexican people who support him on U.S. soil. It's not surprising when his whole career has done nothing for the sport of boxing outside the ring. I'm the new face of boxing. You cannot have the biggest fight of 2025 without my name involved. When all of your events tank and lose money, you will all realize who the king of the sport is. 28 years old, biggest fight in boxing history. My own boss, not owned. 5 years in, all of you felines want to see me fail, but God has other plans. It's the era of good, the era of elephant. It's the era of MVP promotions. End quote. Right? Then he puts up another picture of Canelo Alvarez. He puts this picture up of Canelo Alvarez now, right? So he's salty that Canelo Alvarez is going in a different direction. And again, like I said, I have no issues with, Canelo fighting Jake Paul as a tune-up fight, warm-up fight until he goes into the biggest fights, which is the Terrence Crawfords and the more important fights. Jake Paul is a glorified novice. I continue to say this, and I'll say it again. Jake Paul is a glorified novice in the sport of boxing, period. Okay? So with that said, does Jake Paul have a leg to stand on in the future? Yes. Right now, is he a big star? Yes. He's a big star in the sport of boxing because he has a big name and multi-millions of followers before he got in the sport of boxing, right? So that translated. He's a glorified novice, and he's exciting. He gets knockouts. He knows how to promote and support himself, right? And promote his brand, period. That's what he does. You understand what I'm saying? So with that said, Canelo's not a slave to the sport and to Turki Alalshikh, right? You need people. Yeah, Jake Paul. The difference between Jake Paul and everybody else is that Jake Paul, again, he already had millions of dollars. He already had millions of followers. He already had this in place. You understand? So when Jake Paul says these things, he's not being honest, because he didn't build himself up through the sport of boxing. He built himself up through social media, YouTube, and so on and such outside the sport of boxing, which is great. Not knocking him. As I always say, he's a glorified a novice in the sport of boxing. That's what he is. Period. But now he's calling Canelo Alvarez a slave because Canelo Alvarez decided to sign with His Excellency Turki Alalshikh. The funny part about it is, you wanted to do business with him and you wanted him to sign with MVP Promotions. He would have been a slave to you. Right? We got to start making this make sense, man. But that's all I got for y'all. Follow me on Instagram at Blue Blood Sports TV, all one word. I'm gone. Peace.